Hey everyone, Cece here. Welcome back to my channel. So in my last vlog I showed you these two paintings that I did when I was down in Florida. Unfortunately I couldn't film, but I would like to reproduce them in a different format. I have some square paper here and kind of like play around a little bit with the composition, because these were kind of like done on the fly sort of thing-ish. I didn't really have a plan when I went in. I mixed my colors. I'm going to show you what I have in my little mixing bowl here. So the main color is this one, which I've mixed quinacridone coral with some raw sienna, and I added just a little bit of the yellow brilliant number 2 by Holbein. And I'm also going to be using brown green mixed in with ziosite genuine. Here I have Winsor green blue shade mixed in with ziosite genuine as well. Genuine? I don't know. And I'm going to be using a very light wash of this color, which is dioxazine purple and moonglow. And I'm going in with a watercolor pencil just to sketch in the flowers just for their position. And then I'm just going to go in with 1/2 inch silver flat brush by Black Velvet, and I'm going to apply the purple, very light wash of that purple, and it's not going to be even. I'm not going to apply myself for this. I just want to have some color in the background. Going around the flowers. I keep dipping my brush in water just so I can get variations of that color. I can go over the stems, however, it doesn't matter. Okay, now towards the bottom, I want to add a little bit of that turquoisey mixture. You know what, before everything dries, I'm going to add the color inside my flowers. I want a little bit of bleeding. So I'm going to add a lighter version of the mixture I prepared. Yes. That's what I want. Just so that the color is also in the background. Here. I'm just going to help it a little bit. If my background is splotchy, as I always say, because I've never found the proper term to explain that, but I'm pretty sure you know what I mean. If that background is splotchy, it's perfect for me. That's exactly what I want. I do love the patchiness. Maybe patchy. Patchy would be a better term. Alright, this is nice and dry, not a lot of warping, which is nice. So I'm going to do some leaves in the background. This I'm going to use my Princeton Neptune number 4 round brush. And I'm going to use that light blue-green shade. Alright, let's do one here. Now these leaves are in the background, so they're going to be quite pale in comparison to what I'm going to add on top. And I'm going to do a stem right here. Maybe I should have used a tinier brush. I'm going to do another type of leaf, and again it's going to be in the background, but this time around I'm taking a little bit of the green mixture and putting it into that color that I just used. I just want to test it out to see what it looks like. Yeah, I'm going to do it this way. I may have done that a tiny bit too big, but that's okay. And I'm using the same brush as I used before. Should I go? Yeah. I'm going to start curling downwards here like this. So let me show you. All right. Okay, let me add the color to the flowers so that I can judge better where to put the rest. So I'm dipping into the mixture that I used before, but this time around it's much more vivid. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. Okay, so I ended up going over the leaves a couple of times. Well, twice actually. Once more. And I wanted them to pop a little bit. And then I mixed in a whole bunch of greens together. I don't remember what color I took. And I'm going to add some leaves to these flowers. I'm definitely not using the right brush for this. It's okay. It's gonna have the handmade look. It's not gonna be perfect, because if you set yourself up for perfection, you're gonna be highly disappointed. While this is drying, I'm going to add tiny purple flowers to the background just to tie everything in. And for this, I'm going to use one of my Finetec colors. I have deep purple right there. I sprayed it prior to using it, so it has had time to cure. I have a filbert brush here, and I'm just going to add, oh, it's loaded with water though, just very loose. I'm not going to bother with stems. This is just as an accent, like really last minute, a last minute thought. It's going to look better when it dries. And then a couple here. Now I'm going to go in with my colored pencils. I have, this is Prismacolor, raspberry and black cherry. So I'm going to do kind of like a two-tone shading. So I'm going to start with raspberry. I'm doing a little bit of an outline towards the bottom. And darker here on this side. My light is coming this way, my light source. And then I'm going to start slowly bringing in that color towards the middle. Not as far as the middle, but towards the middle to give it that round shape. And as you can see, it doesn't require a lot. I'm not pressing hard on my pencil. I tend to work in layers, much like I do with my watercolors. So I apply kind of like the same technique with when I use colored pencils. I just made a boo-boo. I like to work in layers. I'd rather be safe than sorry. It's kind of like the cautious approach. Is that a word, cautious? Yeah, it is. So I'm going to do the same thing. I have to be careful here so as not to ruin the paper, because it's kind of a little bit wet. Just the edges, so I'm going to add a little bit here. This is going to get a dot of white for sure. And then I'm going to go with the black cherry and reinforce that. And then same thing here. And I'm going to walk that color in as well. Not as far as the previous one. And then I'm going to go back with the raspberry to blend everything in. This should be much darker around here. What I'm trying to avoid is a very well-defined line when I do shading, so I end up going over those areas quite a few times because I want a nice gradient when I shade. And by using the black cherry and the raspberry, this is going to also bring everything together, because I do have purple in the background, so it kind of like it meshes everything together, so to speak. Okay, and now it's time to go back to the raspberry, and I'm gonna go over what I've done and walk it even further, just to give it that roundness. Now if you want something more dramatic, you can also use a black pencil to finish that off, but I don't want to do that. I kind of want it soft. And of course, as I move towards the middle, I release a little bit of the pressure. And I think what I'm going to do is add little dots on this side. I'm not sure why I want to do that. I just feel compelled to do it. Just to add a little bit of more interest, make it more fun. Fun is the word. Yeah, looks a little bit prickly. I like that. So I'm going to have the leaves with a vein in the middle, and I'm just going to darken one side. Just so that they're more special than the rest, just because those leaves here are pretty flat. I want the star of the show to be the flowers. That includes the leaves on the flower as well. So that's why I decided to go with kind of like a half of the leaf is darker. And I'm also going to add a tiny bit of, reinforce that fold in the middle here, and shading around that line I just did. And then here at the bottom, on this side, just a bit. I'm kind of doing the same thing with the stem. This one is larger, so it gives me more room to play. But if you notice, I have a very pronounced line here on the right. Let me demonstrate that with that last bit here. So I've got that very strong line, and then I'm going to start by applying a little bit less pressure and then gradually come to almost nothing towards the center. And that gives it that nice rounded shape. Strangely, I'm reminded of the Red Hat Society with that red and the purple in the background. I'm going to add a little bit of white with my Copic white ink here. A little bit on this side here, which is where the light hits it. I'm going to add a tiny dot inside those little flowers. And a little bit on the stem. A little bit here. The last detail I want to add is a few dots with the purple, the deep purple iridescent color. So I'm going to make sure that my brush is very wet, and I just dropped a big glob there. And I'm just going to hit a couple of spots. Maybe down here. I've made a boo-boo here, so maybe a few dots will help it. And that's that. I'm going to sign my name. I've been asked lately where I got the stamp for my signature. As you can see, it's not a stamp. I do it freehand. I do have a hand carved stamp, but it's too big. So until I have the means to get a professional one made, that's how it's going to be. The flowers are a little bit reflective, but you kind of have to move the paper to see it. I do love how the big ones turned out. So there you have it. I hope that you've enjoyed this process video. I will list the material, the list of supplies in the description of this video. And if you do have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I want to say a big shout out to my awesome patrons, without whom I wouldn't be able to put free content here on YouTube. Their help is invaluable to me. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye.